Welcome to the Pineal Gland Activation class with Liliana and myself, Joey Kramer. We put this class together because so many people right now in the world are struggling. They're struggling to find their purpose. They're struggling to find their way in life. They're struggling just to overcome the fear and the bullshit that persists out there. It's a never-ending barrage of just emotional triggers that are coming at us from every angle. And it's keeping us from living in our true highest potential. A lot of us feel stuck. I know even a lot of the coaches out there, the last few weeks have been really tough on us from what we've seen in communities and the groups we're in. Everybody seems to be really going through a shift. The energies, whatever you want to call it, they're coming through like they've never come through before. And it's really affecting us. It's really causing a lot of us to go crazy. And the fact is, a lot of people are going crazy because they don't understand what the pineal gland is, how to activate it, and how to cleanse it, how to detoxify it. And that's really what we're going to do today. We're going to take you through this whole step-by-step process. And, who's this class for? It's for anybody that's feeling uncertain, confusion, jealousy, cynicism, pessimism, and fear is the most, that's the biggest one. They all are bottled up into our emotions. Our emotions get projected out into the world. And that's the way we live our lives, through that projection of emotions. And the idea, the concept here is, what if Liliana and I can show you a way to gain control of those emotions, to gain control of the thoughts we have. And it all starts in our minds. And it starts with this tiny little thing, this tiny little gland the size of a piece of rice called the pineal gland that sits right in our head. And we'll dive into all of that here as we go along. But let me turn this over and let Liliana, my beautiful co-host, introduce herself. And then I will introduce myself, and then we'll go through and outline the class, and we'll get this show on the road. FYI, the class we're scheduling this. It should last about 2 hours. We're trying to break it down into 4 30-minute sections here. So I'll try and keep Liliana on track. She can keep me on track, so on and so forth. We want to respect your guys' time and get you out of here as close to 3 o'clock as we can. With that being said, I'll turn it over to Liliana real quick and let her share her introduction and story here.
Thank you, Joey. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with me. You're going to see me doing the strangest things this evening, but it's because I want to bring everyone's frequency, aligning to my frequency, which I don't live in 3D world anymore. I jump timelines big time. I'm in the quantum field right now. And I want to break down those DNA strands that are restricting you guys to your fullest potential, about dreaming or being who you truly need to be in this earth. Not about your professions that you have now. Right now, what you're doing is for the money, is for the survival, is for bringing money to your families. The reason I'm with this triangle, most people know already, I do this a lot in my reality, is because a lot of people don't know, but I'm going to teach you everything from the heart. Not everyone teach from the heart. Most mentors teach from the head. And this is where the technical side of things doesn't agree with me. So I'm going to teach you from the heart today. And the reason I'm making this sign so far is because the triangle is the symbol of perfectness, unity, and importance. And that represents the mother, the father, and the child. This triangle has everything to do with the pineal gland. Therefore, the inside is beyond the earth realm. For those that you don't know this, the number 1, the peak of the triangle, Nikola Tesla used to talk about, is the number 1, the force. The number 2 on the side is the opening. And
Hey,
the number
hey,
3,
Liliana, not to cut you off. We can't see you very well. Is there a way you can position yourself without the light in the background there?
Can you? Okay, I'll turn around. Should I? But
yes, please. I think people are going to be able to see.
It doesn't matter.
We always see is your shadow.
It doesn't matter because, listen, that's not important. My visual side of things. What is important? What I'm teaching. So respect my space for now. And I want to everyone to feel this energy that I'm bringing, which is, again, I'm going to repeat, the number one is the force, the number two is the opening, so I'm opening your space now, and the number three is the awakening, which is the wisdom. With that being said, I open the class to Joey, and in the end, I am going to do my absolutely utmost. We're going to chant, and we're going to try to open or facilitate your openings of your pineal. So when you leave here, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. So I'll leave it to Joey. I've got an interesting class to show you. And this is not the Illuminati that people see me doing. Now you know the symbol. Joey, over to you. Thank you for listening to me. There is so much I want to teach you tonight. And I want to make sure that your money is worth the 2 hours. Thank you, guys. I love you.
Thank you, Liliana. We look forward to your portion here. It's going to be insightful. I know both her and I teach from experience. We teach from what we've experienced in life, especially over the last 4 or 5 years. You know, we've come to this understanding, we've come to this knowledge, and it's taken a lot of work. It's taken a lot of diving deep into who and what we are, healing a lot of the damage and the traumas that have been done to us over our lifetime, over many lifetimes. You know, we're all infinite beings of light. We cannot die. We're never ending. So we've been here many, many, many times, many lifetimes. And the pineal gland is that connection to that source. We'll dive deep into it here. As for me, you know, I'm Joey Kramer. For those that don't know me, founder of the Reality Practice Network. And, you know, I went through a life-changing experience a couple years ago when I learned the secrets of how to create reality. And I used the power of forgiveness, compassion, and love. And I went back and I literally rewrote my biological DNA, changed my entire future forever, and that of my family, my friends, everybody around me. And now it's my mission and purpose in life to just share what I've experienced, share what I've learned, just like Liliana, in order to help everyone we can unlock the potential that lies within us. So that being said, let's get this show on the road, guys. Who's ready? Let's see, show of hands. All right, all right. Zilvinas is pumped up.
I love
All
it.
right, what is this class going to entail here? We just did our introduction. I'm going to stage the first 30 minutes or so like a class. We're going to go through some slides, and we're going to dive into what the pineal gland is, how it works, the history of it, what's been hidden from us, really. Then we're going to talk about calcification and how to decalcify the pineal gland. That's the most important step. Well, there's a lot of important steps, but that's until we start to break down the poisons, the toxins that live within us, it's very hard to achieve the state that we're looking to achieve. Then we're going to go in, I'm going to turn it over to Liliana. She's going to discuss her own evolution and kind of what's possible for you. She's going to, like she said, come from the heart. She's going to teach some things that you're probably not going to find anywhere else out there on the internet, because she's coming straight from her heart. She's coming straight from her source, and it's coming through her on that. Lastly, we're going to get into the actual tangible steps you can take as far as how to decalcify and detoxify not only your body, but your pineal gland. And then how to get, we've got 5 or 6 different methods that we'll dive into and discuss on different ways that we can activate and open up and cleanse the pineal gland and really get it to start working the way God and the universe intended it to work. We'll have at the end, we're going to have about 30 minutes of Q&A. If you guys have questions, please use the chat down below or over to the side there. We may be able to answer them as we go through, but if you've got specific questions, wait till the end and we'll raise hands and we'll call you out, each person, and we can talk and go from there. To get the best results out of this course, make sure 100% you come into this with an open mind. I don't know what you believe or what you've been taught to believe over the years, but some of the things we're going to share with you may seem a little off, may seem a little far-fetched, may seem crazy, But at the end of the day, everything we're going to talk about has been backed up not only by science, by statistical research, paperwork, but it's also been known through many religions, basically all religions, for thousands of years. This is something that's been hidden from us. So approach everything with a complete open mind, participate fully, and follow along in the workbook. If you were able to print it off, then there's some blank spaces. Follow along and fill in the blanks as we go. We also, if you got the email, we've got a couple PDFs that will help you as well. One's on how to detoxify the body and a lot of different supplements that are available out there, as well as how to decalcify the pineal gland. And we'll get deep into what that involves and how to do that. But those PDFs are going to be a huge benefit to you moving forward. And then you can have the workbook to refer back to at any time. You'll also get a recording of this as well sent out to you. So you'll have this if you ever want to refer back to it, rewatch it, whatever you'd like. So with that being said, let's get this show on the road for real now. I know many of you realize and understand the power of belief. And the power of belief is what creates everything. It's creating our reality. It's creating the way we feel. It's creating the actions that we take each and every day in our lives. And the reason I put this slide here first is because as we move into this class, as we go through everything, this is going to take your belief and your trust and your faith in the things that are presented as true and factual, because this, to the best of our knowledge, to the best that we can see and experience, this is really what's happening, and we need to help awaken the world to it. And it starts with you. It starts with belief and your own inner power, your own true power. So what is the pituitary gland? It's responsible for our connection to the natural and physical 3D earth and the 3D world. You know, we are infinite beings of light, and we live literally off of the energy of the sun, off of the light. And that is exactly what the pineal gland does. The pineal gland is known by most religions and metaphysics as the third eye. And as I said earlier, it's teeny tiny little rice-sized gland that sits right behind the pituitary gland. I don't even think they knew it existed for a long time. But what does it do specifically? It gives us the power of ESP. It gives us intuition. It gives us clairvoyance, and it does so much more that science is just now learning and understanding the benefits that the pineal gland does for us. So why is it important? This is the key right here. The pineal gland is the body's light meter. It's how we receive light information. For those of you that are deeper into metaphysics and universal consciousness, we understand that light is the source. Light is energy. Obviously, light is everything, and our sun's providing it for us. The universe is providing it for us. But how do we receive that energy? How do we take that into our bodies, process it, and utilize it in the way that it was meant to be? That's where our eyes come in, and our eyes are receiving that light, which then goes through into the pineal gland, and it sends out different hormones, psychic messages, all sorts of experiences that our body needs. As far as the pineal gland's concerned, and why it's called the third eye, it literally, when you dissect it and break it down, it resembles identically the rods and the cones that are in the retina of our eye. And it even has retinal tissue and the same physical wiring to the brain's visual cortex. So in essence, it literally is a third eye that sits within the middle of our brain there. And it's helping us to activate the life beyond our typical limitations that we perceive. If everything's an illusion, everything's just being perceived through our own eyes, whatever's going into that pineal gland is what is being projected out. Brings us a clearer vision, clearer thoughts, the ability to see that which was unseen prior. And I like to go back to the idea of childlike imagination. Remember back when we were all children, up until probably the age of 6 or 7, we had the most wonderful imaginations. You know, the floor was lava and we're jumping from a couch to a chair, trying not to burn ourselves. We go out and play in the yard and, you know, cowboys, Indians, sword fighting, but nothing was unbelievable to us as a child. And we had this certain ability when we were little that gave us this ability to imagine, to believe, to see things that weren't there. And that's what the pineal gland is there to do. What's happened over the years, around that age 6, 7, our body starts to shift, our body starts to change. In addition, we start to become polluted with a lot of toxins. And the more toxins are coming in, the less connection we have to that childlike imagination. That ability that we once had is taken away from us. Now, this is what happens when the pineal gland is not working properly. This is an actual pineal gland, and this is what it looks like when it has become calcified. I can almost guarantee the majority of everybody, if not everybody on this call, has some sort of calcification on their pineal gland. But the idea here is you can look at it clearly and see if the fleshy red parts are the living, functioning parts of the pineal gland. Obviously, the crystallized, calcified part at the top, it's not receiving anything. It's in essence dead. So what does that mean when we have this calcified pineal gland like this? It means we're producing less melatonin. Melatonin is a vital, necessary vitamin, mineral that we need, and our body produces it regularly. Secondly, it throws off our circadian rhythm, and that's what allows us to sleep. It tells us when to sleep. The sun comes up, tells us to wake up. Sun goes down, tells us to go to sleep, and it regulates our body. When the sun's up, our body takes in the light. It awakens us. This is all through DNA. This is all through biology. We were hunters and gatherers. At nighttime, we couldn't see anything. Therefore, we were hiding in caves. We were sleeping in a secure, hut, whatever it was. But the idea was if we were out at night, we probably were going to get eaten by something. So our circadian rhythm tells us nighttime's for sleeping. Sun comes up, it tells us it's time to go out and hunt. It's time to go out and produce. It's time to go out and conquer the world. So obviously, if your circadian rhythm's thrown off, if your melatonin's out of whack, you're not getting restful sleep and your rhythms are all off in your body. And then another big thing is it interferes with our reproductive functions. Both man and women, both male and female, they both experience this. And these are parts of, this is the chemicals that we're putting into our body that are causing us to have reproductive problems. I think it's so much more prevalent now than it ever was. And it's based on some of the things we're going to talk about today. And at the end of the day, when we don't have a pineal gland that's functioning properly, we're going to be, as I said earlier, we're going to have a lot of uncertainty. We're going to have a lot of confusion. We're going to be prone to jealousy, cynicism, pessimism, and fear. Our brain does not work properly when we have a calcified pineal gland. So when it's working properly, what is it doing? It's giving you more clarity. It's giving you more intuition. It's giving you more empathy, focus, decisiveness, clairvoyance, ESP abilities. And it's your connecting rod. It opens up your connection to source energy, to the energy of the universe, the energy that connects each and every one of us and everything in our environment. It's all connected through energy and molecules. If we turn off this tiny little gland in the top of our head there, it turns off the connection to everything. So who doesn't want more focus out there? Raise your hands. Who doesn't want to be more decisive in your actions and your thoughts? who wants to know with clarity and certainty what you're thinking and what you're doing is the right step and the right action to take. You know, these are all just fundamental things that each and every one of us want to experience more of each day. Now, you know, the clairvoyance, the ESP, some of those more metaphysical superpower type abilities, yeah, that'd be great for, I know a lot of people that would like to have those. Will everybody have those? I think it's possible, but at this point, we're just learning more and more as we go about what the pineal gland is truly capable of doing. Now, we've got the history of the pineal gland. And like I said, modern science, medicine, they've only just now started to understand how critical the role is of the pineal gland. But the ancient cultures, ancient religions, they've known this stuff for a long, long time. We've known it for thousands of years, the power of it, what it does, how it affects us. You know, for Buddhists, it's a form to them of spiritual awakening. In Hinduism, the pineal gland, it's the seat of intuition and clairvoyance. For Taoists, the pineal gland is the mind's eye or heavenly eye. And in ancient Egypt, we find all sorts of references to the third eye and the pineal region of our mind. Just, you know, it's almost too identical to call a coincidence. If you look at the eye of Ra, the eye of Horus here, and you look here at the actual pineal gland, a cutaway of it in the human brain, they look almost identical. So I think they were onto something. They knew a lot more than science even knows now. And they were telling us this for thousands of years now. They've been painting it on cave walls, on pyramid walls. They've been trying to share the power that this tiny little gland has. Let's see, we've got some more. You know, if you're Christian and you believe in the Bible and all that the Bible teaches, it tells you in Matthew 6:22, the light of the body is in the eye. It therefore thine eye be single, the whole body shall be full of light. Now notice, it didn't say the light of the body is in the eyes. It's singular. The light of the body is in the eye. Specifically, it is referring to the pineal gland, your third eye. Got ancient Greeks even, they believed the pineal was our connection to thought itself. Herophilius described it as the sphincter of thought. And then French mathematician and philosopher Descartes shared the view, speaking about the pineal gland in his book Tristy of Man. And he said, in my view, is that this gland is the principal seat of the soul and the place in which all thoughts are formed. And basically, if I don't want to go on and on about all of the religions, all of the ancient writings that are out there, but bottom line is, for thousands of years, both the East and West, we've all been looking at this tiny little gland, this third eye, as something more important than we've been led to believe it is. And it's literally showing us now that it is our connection and physical connection to the three-dimensional world that we live within, and the psychic dimension, the energetic dimension that lives all around us at all times. So I don't know about you, but I want to understand and I want to learn how to get connected to that energy more, because the 3D world we're living in, it's going to shit in a lot of ways. So the more we can start to live in a different dimensional reality of this energy that's surrounding us, the quicker and sooner we can learn to transform our future, transform our own reality into that which we desire and want to see. So what's been hidden from us over the years? You know, this little known gland, while we haven't known about it, other than the religions, the governments have known about it for a very long time. The research that they've done goes all the way back to World War II, when they were doing tests on it. But the CIA, the Russian government, the German governments, the Chinese military, all of these people, all of these governments, excuse me, all of these governments have been conducting research costing millions, if not billions of dollars for decades now into learning how this works. There's released CIA paperwork through FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, that literally outlines exactly what they've been doing. They've been researching and learning how to do remote viewing by using the pineal gland. That involves psychic and telekinetic abilities. They've been teaching children in programs, and adults even, in programs all around the world, how to bend spoons, how to see, remote view all across the world. They've used it in warfare to be able to target and see what other leaders are doing, where armies are, missile silos. The data that's out there is truly phenomenal. It's fascinating if you ever take the time to read it. You can Google any of it. One of the big ones to Google is the CIA and remote viewing. It will give you the declassified documents on everything, how they did it, what practices they went through, and the results. They actually just, I think, supposedly shut down the program a couple decades ago. But in my opinion, they're probably still doing it, and far much more at this point in time. They've been using it, and it's documented as well in declassified documents. They're using this power we have of the pineal gland for actually doing interdimensional travel, accessing different parts of the universe. As far-fetched as it sounds to some people, they can go and move through space and time. And this is all based on quantum physics. This isn't a class about getting deep into that, just giving you a general overview. But the idea is, by remote viewing, they can go and access different portions of the galaxy. They can see things on the moon, on Mars, in different solar systems. And this has been going on, and it's out there in the public now for many, many years. The biggest one and the biggest thing, though, that has been released and declassified is the MK Ultra program that they've used and waged war on humanity, mostly as a war fighting tactic. They go in and they learn how to program the pineal gland in a certain way that creates basically robots, basically people that when they get a trigger, if you've ever seen the movie Zoolander, that's exactly what happened to him. He was MK Ultra'd, and when he heard a specific song, he activated and must kill the Malaysian prime minister. So one of my favorite movies. But the point is, the governments and the militaries have known for over half a century now the power that this tiny little gland has, and they've kept it from us for so long. They've suppressed the information, but thank you now to the internet, thank you to this age of information, we're able to start sharing this knowledge. We're able to start learning. And the more of us that learn about it, the truth behind it, and what we're capable of, the more people we can help enlighten, the more people we can help activate and awaken this energy that lies within us. So what is calcification? Calcification is, and this is a fluoride caused by fluoride here in an aged human pineal gland. This is what I showed you before. And this is actually from a NIH. So from the federal government, this is a paper that they did research on. And here are the findings of it all the way back in 2001. And it discusses the pineal gland and fluoride. Fluoride is the biggest killer, basically, of the pineal gland. Uh-oh, how do I get back now? Hold on. Let me stop that. Get back in. There it is. All right. Sorry about that. It was covered up there. So causes of calcification of the pineal gland. The primary cause, as I said, is fluoride. chlorine and heavy metals also play a huge role in calcifying the pineal gland. And here it's countless studies have been done on what fluoride, the danger of fluoride in our diet is. Now, there's a difference between naturally occurring fluoride, which is actually useful and good for our bodies. We need to take in small portions of it in order to function and to release melatonin, to have all of the benefits that fluoride has. But the problem is they found that artificial fluoride is what's causing all of this damage in people. And just a list of the things that it does. One, and most importantly, it calcifies the pineal gland. Two, it causes arthritis. It causes kidney disease. It literally lowers IQ and causes brain damage. It harms fertility. It weakens our skeletal system. It causes cardiovascular inflammation, and it leads to increased lead absorption. So there's a ton of literature out there. This is a great book right here by Paul Kennett, The Case Against Fluoride. So if you're interested in learning more, there's some links in the resources I provided for you, and you can also look at this book as well. But the fact is, we have been poisoned, and we're being poisoned for many, many years. They've been putting it in the United States. They've been putting fluoride in the water. They tell us that fluoride is good for teeth and makes healthy teeth. And all of it has been a lie that science and data is now showing and proving is incorrect. And the bottom line is, the question is, why, I guess, have they been poisoning us? Why have they been pumping these chemicals and encouraging this fluoride into our bodies? I think it's because, in my opinion, they know the power of our pineal gland. They know what it's capable of doing. And if we can activate it and reignite the third eye, one, we no longer need them, because we will begin to have our own superhuman powers. So I think it's a form of control, of keeping us in check, so that they can continue to have power while we just go through the motions. When our pineal gland isn't activated, when it's not functioning properly, we are very easily prone to manipulation. We're very easily prone to accepting fear as the primary driver for our reality. You know, we get very emotional. All of these things are because of our pineal gland having been calcified. So how do we decalcify the pineal gland? We're going to go through it in much more detail in the last half of the class today. But bottom line is, step number one to decalcify the pineal gland, we have to begin to start eliminating certain foods and environmental factors that are causing the calcification. We've got to start eliminating fluoride. We've got to start eating a healthier diet consisting of fruits and vegetables, things that don't have chemicals on them, organic, obviously. Step two, we need to remove the existing calcification. We've all got damage. We've all got a calcified pineal gland, but it's not the end of the line. It's nothing that cannot be fixed. It cannot be taken back. We just have to start activating it and putting the right things in and taking the right steps in order to allow it to decalcify and start to act the way it was created and meant to act in our bodies. And then lastly, we just need to start creating an external environment that supports a healthy pineal gland. You know, it's in the things we do. It's in, I'll be honest, it's in bad habits. I have bad habits still, and it's in a lot of our bad habits that we do. We take in a lot of heavy toxins, the heavy metals. One that I've learned about that is supposedly the biggest toxin for heavy metals in everybody's home is your tennis shoes, your rubber-soled tennis shoes. Everywhere you go outside, imagine you're at the gas station filling up your tank of gas. There's gas fumes. that have deposited on the ground. You're stepping into that. You're stepping in tar from the streets. You're stepping in all of the chemicals that are falling and pollutants that are falling from the sky, and you're dragging them in on your shoes. And what happens at night, you go into the house, you take your shoes off, and those shoes, the soles, those rubber soles, they actually off gas, and they allow all of those pollutants into the air that you're breathing all night long. And from what I've heard, that is one of the most toxic things we can do. So first and foremost, easy thing anyone can do moving forward. Try to remember to take your shoes off outside and leave them outside. If you have a garage, leave them in the garage. Let them off gas there. It may seem minuscule. It may seem like it's not doing much, but at the end of the day, the soles of your shoes are off gassing those heavy metals into your environment. We don't even realize how many heavy metals are in our system right now. Everything we breathe, pumping gas at the gas station, you get a whiff of gas through your nose, that is heavy metals that are going right up into your body. And the problem with heavy metals is they cannot be taken out of your body. They do not self-regulate. They do not remove themselves from your body. Once they are in there, they cling on, they attach to certain cells in your body, and they remain there for your entire life. So the step would be to start an action plan to cleanse and detoxify your system of these heavy metals. And we've got some great supplements. We've got some resources that we provided in the email that will lead you in the right direction there. Not everything works for everybody. Some people have different effects, but find what works for you and just start doing something. Start doing something each and every day to start cleansing and clearing out those toxins. It can be done, and there are different types of cleanses out there that you can do a 3 or 5 day cleanse and remove almost all the heavy toxins from your system. But there's a bunch of things you can do on it. So with that being said, that was basically the overview of what the pineal gland is, what the history of it is, and just some quick little things that we can do or to be aware of in terms of what's actually happening and why this gland is so important. At this point, I want to turn it over to Liliana, and I want her to share her experience, her techniques. Excuse me. Just take it from here, Liliana. I got something in my throat.
I turn around so you can see my kitchen now, and can you see me better? Of course, I have to say I love work with the light. So I'm sorry if I was rude to you, Joey, but I am a light being. I'm not longer in a physical body. What you see, it's not longer what resonates with me. I shift timelines already. My good friend Sean Deroshe, he knows what I'm talking about. We are been pals for a while on the same journey. Some of you know me through work. Some of you know me through friendship. There's a few of you. Actually, I don't know if Barbara's here. She's from over here, and I'm being called Liliana now because I do the craziest things around here. So that saying, I want to help you as much as I can in explaining why I want this class to be heard. I'm so grateful that you are here because I'm going to, now the technical side is out of the way, I am going to talk about my journey, my experiences, and I have to write down a lot, and I tell you why, because I do a lot of meditation. I'm going to ask you guys as well. When I'm meditating is when my third eye really gets open. I don't know. I want you to raise your hands. How many of you have your third eye half open or semi-open or full open? How many of you have? How many of you have half open, semi-open? So 1, 2.
I would say half.
Okay. Right. Okay. Maybe this question is not yet understood because a lot of people think pineal gland be open is you just like become millionaire overnight. Nothing to do with that. You can, but it's more about the knowledge, the cosmic knowledge that you gain as you become aware of who you are as a multi-dimensional being. It's nothing to do with what the world tells you. When you become to know who you are for real, this is when your initiation starts. So in a way, everybody in this class understands you are more than this body already. So you are initiating your process already. And I'm so happy that you are understanding that. So what I want to say is, now the Joey technical side of things gone out of the way, I'm going to start from what my journey started 2.5 years ago. I mean, some property friends are here and they understand what I'm going talking about. I woke up and goodness me, I didn't know where I was. And my pineal gland didn't blast open straight away. And this is going to happen to most of you. Your pineal gland will not, some of you can blast open in a second, in a week, in a month. Some of you can actually open from child or birth, but then it will stop halfway there because of the belief systems our parents imprint on us. So for example, my son's pineal gland, he made the way for me because he opened when he was 16 years old and I didn't understand anything he was talking about at the time, but he made the seed for me. So planting the seed is very important because when we are aware, this is all consciousness and awareness. When we are aware of these things, we planting seeds for other people so they become to live in their sovereignty. This is the world of illusion, as Joey said, but there's more to this. Okay, we all have a purpose to be on the earth, and our purpose is not to work like slaves in the 9-to-5 job like everybody talks about. Every single one of you has a unique talent that is yet to be unrevealed or unveiled or discovered. And I never knew that I had talent for these things. I'm no teacher. I think I'm not good at speaking either way because my Portuguese is crap and my English is even worse. But saying that, I took on the call when I was asked by divine order and guidance. And without hesitation, I dropped everything. And this is what I'm doing today. Because my main goal is not service to self, it's service to others. And I want to wake up as many people as possible. So collectively, we can jump timelines and see the world that we desire to live, which is in peace and love. Don't we all want that? Will be great, right? So in Genesis, this is the Bible, because I've always been religious and my family is Catholic. And I always believe in many things religiously. And I've been jumping from church to church over the years. And I did not understand some unanswered questions to my knowledge that I thought I knew more than them, but I couldn't speak because I was a child. So I jumped from church to church over the years. And when this happened to me 2.5 years ago, I understood exactly what the pineal was about. So in Genesis, it says, if you write down, if you want to go back and read it, 32:20 says, Jacob, Sean Dorishe knows about this, but I'm going to share with most of you don't know. The Jacob was an apostle of Christ, obviously from the Bible. The Bible, by the way, it's a book that is written for us. It's our autobiography. This is not a religious book at all. They just lied to us all these years. This is your life. Your life is all in here. Each of you life is in here. Is the interpretation of it, but we don't understand. So in Genesis, Jacob named a place with the name of Peniel, which is the pineal, because he said, I saw God face to face. Most of us want to see God, right? But we don't know where he is. And we ask, where is God when I need it? I want God to be helping me now because I need it. So Jacob saw God face to face. What does that mean? He actually opened his third eye when he understood what God was. The God was actually within him. Obviously, there is a creator, and we pass these barriers alongside as you understand these things more. Because I'm not going to teach you everything that I know today, because it's going to be we'll be here all night. So there is the Christ that we know, the Bible talks about it, which is a character that was a healer, and he was crucified not because of the church, but because of the knowledge. The knowledge he had, which is God is in me and I'm in God, is the knowledge we are teaching today. I mean, I'm not teacher, as I said, but I'm trying to open your vision about who Christ was. So Christ knew that the cerebral spinal fluid was the Jacob's ladder. Okay, so the Jacob's ladder, I had to write down because I get more inspired when I write things down. So the cerebral spinal fluid, the Christ, claims the 33 vertebrae. If I don't speak English properly, forgive me. That is the Jacob ladder. So basically, everything starts in the nervous system in our spine. And this is the knowledge nobody wants to understand. When we are physically healthy, we can become the Christ within, because the vertebrae that is that emits the 12 cranial nerves, which in the Bible they talk about, which is the 12 apostles. So these 12 apostles, I become to know my spiritual awakening. They just in my body. So the 33 is the vertebrae that we have, 33 vertebrae, and the 12 cranial nerves that I've been told from young in the churches that the 12 apostles is actually in my body. How good is that? We have it all in with us. So these 12 cranial nerves, they actually ignite the pineal gland when they are fully functioning, all right? So, which is when I had the spiritual awakening, and some of us here in the school understand what I'm talking about, this is when we understood who Christ is for real and what is resurrection means. So I resurrected into Christ when I had my spiritual awakening, because the cosmic knowledge just came to the load in my head, and I understood that there was no savior to come to save me. Actually, I'm my own savior, and I had to study myself, and this is where my journey began. I have to drink, sorry. So if everything ignites the 12 disciples, which is the 12 nervous systems, ignites the pineal gland, which is our resurrection in Christ, that says to me, everything comes from the nervous system. It has to be fully functional. And I always, all my life, been sick. I've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I had, like as one person on the call, I'm not going to say the name, I had skin problems. I had all sorts of chronic diseases, and I had a very weak autoimmune system. And this was my pineal. It was that decalcified, that it didn't allow me to expand my knowledge. So when I understood the colostrum secret, which is the oil that comes to the spine and goes to the top of our cranium once a month, when I understood that during my spiritual awakening, then I had to do a lot of research. And then this is the process started for me. That's why most of you guys saw me out of social media. They saw me stop completely interacting with the outside world, and I become interactive with my own self and understand my person as a multidimensional being. So the ancient called this oil, that's why you see this ritual in the churches, right? They call it the Christos, the Christ oil. Does that make sense? The Bible, the church, and the explanations I'm giving you so far. So the Christ oil, it's actually within us, but we've never been told this. We're waiting for the Savior to come in and to give you the salvation. We are forever waiting and waiting and waiting. So saying that, what is the Christus or the Christ oil? I wrote down, when the Christ oil reached which Joey said, the optic thalamus, you will have vision and you will know what is your life purpose. Not your jobs, because we all have to work to pay our bills. It's when this oil actually reaches your cranial and it gets up to your spine all the way up, and your meditation. How many of you meditate in here? I want to see. Quite a few of you. Fantastic. Love it. Thank you. So on your meditations, how many of you already experienced, let me see, light during meditation? Any of you? Quite a few. Fantastic. What about buzzing sensations in this area? Like something is pressing on. Fantastic. So you guys are already halfway there. How many of you have energy headaches? Like when the weather's kind of funny, you have these headaches, like tension headaches. Fantastic. You guys all have this potential to uncover what I'm going to tell today. How many of you have recently, especially from 2018 up to today, really vivid dreams? How many of you? Fantastic. So we are getting there. We are vibrating on the same frequency. I love it. So looks like you guys already are halfway there. How many? I'm sorry, the question you don't have to answer, but this is crucial because I want to help on the side in another class. Maybe I'll have time today to do it. How many of you have actually taken the vaccine? How many guys have the vaccine? 1, 2, just 2 of you. That's fine. Let's have a look. 3 vaccines. Okay, no problem. Zilvers, vaccine? No? X Factor. Love it. Fantastic. Wow. Looks like you guys are ready for this. Are we ready? Yes. I'm so excited. So there's only 3 people here that I'm going to help because there's only 3. I'm going to help you to dissolve that liquid from your body because I've been told in a dream, in a vision, in another timeline how to do it. All right. And I helped facilitate during COVID, a few people, or 2 people actually, out of coma. Actually, Sean, it was one of your friends who reached me out. And I am no healer, by the way. I become to uncover these things as my third eye open. I become to understand I have powers that every single one of you can access to. And during COVID, Sean reached me and said, I've got a friend who's in coma. She needs your help. I said, look, man, I'm no healer. I'll give it a go. I give it a go. And I asked the lady just to approach the lady in coma and ask if she want to stay or she want to go. Ultimately, it's our choice. We chose to come here. That's why when this is activated, you start to remember things. This is how I can describe. My class is going to be about my experiences, so you can take the most out of this tonight. When you start to understand who you are, you start to remember a lot. And I remember that I could facilitate this healing because I have these powers. So this lady came out of the coma, not because I helped her, only because I facilitate, and she didn't want to go. She wanted to live. Ultimately, it was a choice. She wanted to stay with us, and she's with us still. Yes, Sean, she's with us. Fantastic. So when I understood these things, I started to put things into practice, and this is what I'm going to teach you. Are you ready? Because ultimately, who knows about DMT and serotonin? Right? If I tell you that DMT is the honey they talk in the Bible, do you know that? How many don't know about the honey in the Bible? It's the DMT. Do you know that? Are we learning something? Yeah. What about the milk they talk in the Bible? So it's the honey and the milk. Do you know what that means? The milk? No, not many of you. Sean, help? No? That is the serotonin. Now, how is the coincidence that the Bible is our autobiography and we don't know anything about it? So we got the milk and we got the honey, and those are crucial, right? Because everybody knows it, but they don't tell us. Why they don't tell us? They're making millions out of us, out of our ignorance. We are ignorance. We are ignorant beings, physical ignorant beings. I am not ignorant anymore because I've jumped timelines. I'm already living in a quantum. And people say, yeah, but you're not a millionaire. I am abundant in all things. I can assure you right now. I have abundance in all things in my life because when you serve others and when you serve knowledge, you become the Christ itself. You are representing the Christ. That's why the consciousness is here. And I want to read about this because the second secretion and the cerebrospinal fluid is the Christ within. When I understood that, hold on a minute, so this is Christ and I am Christ. How? It doesn't make sense, does it? So Christ performed miracles, so that means I can do the same. And so can you. I love it. We all can do this. That's why I'm so excited for this class, because every single person in this class, it's Christ. We are all one unit. That's what the mentors talk about all the time. So if Christ can, we can, right? But now we want to tap into it. We want to learn how, right? Because we want to perform miracles for our families. We want to live healthy. And there's many of you, and I know a few faces because I can telepathically read some of you, they are facing challenges with health because our consciousness is so suppressed at the moment, so suppressed that everything we consume is poisoning. Now, I'm going to start from the very basics because there is a sacred place in our body, which is the sacral. Everybody knows the sacred chakra, right? And this chakra is much blocked. Everything has to do with everything. So everything is connected. We are all connected, but dysfunctional. We are all beings, dysfunctional beings, when we don't know how to tap in these powers. So basically, to amplify this power, we need to tap into something magical, which I call the DNA strands that are dormant within us and nobody teaches. Not even Joe Dispenza, because he charged £2,000 for a class. He teaches you the basics, but you have to pay another 2,000 to go back and learn a little bit more. And then you're going to pay another 2,000. You get a little bit. So what I want to say is, I'm not Joe Dispenza. He's amazing because he's telling out the truth. But how many years these guys know this truth? And they just give us like, it's like a crumb in a cake. You see the cake, can I have a slice? But if you like a little bit poor, you have half of the slice. And if you're really poor, you have only a crumb. You don't have the taste either. So I want to give it the whole because I tapped into something that I so much desire the collective to understand. And it's not about the making the millions. I'm going to tell you right now, and crucify me if you want, but greed is 3D program. It's no longer here. Those timelines are going to go down. Whoever lives in greed at this moment are going to stay behind, and these timelines will collapse. And eventually, the people that live in abundance, which is different than greed, are the ones who are going to spread this to the collective. Because the children of the now are going to come back and are already here telling us. In fact, the Pleiadians have an interest on this planet. That's why they want us to help us open this veil. So you want to know about how. Let me see what time is it, because I don't want, it's 8 o'clock. We've got plenty of time. I'm going to try to speak for another 15 minutes and then we're going to do the questions. So we begin this journey and let's have a look. So we want to go to the promised land, all of us, because everybody thinks there's a heaven somewhere. If I tell you there is a heaven here, how many people believe it? Raise your hands. How many people believe there's a heaven on earth? Fantastic. I love you guys. I do love you, because there is a heaven on earth. We just don't know how to create the heaven on earth because we live with competition, with jealousy, as Joey said, with greed, with you name it. We just want to have something more for ourselves. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm going to tell you right now, the 3D world is collapsing already. And you guys are already jumping to my frequency. How many people felt my energy in my introduction? I want to see, genuinely from your heart, from the bottom of your heart, how many people felt my energy? A few of you. Okay, fantastic. How many people are feeling my energy right now? Thank you. I feel you guys. Okay, can I just say I love you? I love you so much, all of you. Let's get down to business. You want to know what have I done to decalcify my pineal gland? Okay, I didn't know anything about these things. As I said, I was very sick, very ill. The first thing I've done was stop medication altogether, and it was bloody hard. I was in a lot of medication. The doctors told me this and the other. I was in 4 or 5 things a day. And when I had this wisdom, I had to ditch it, and it was suffocating because the first few months, I literally thought I was going to die without the medication. But if this is old programming, I had to leave the old programming behind. So first, take notes. How to decalcify my pineal gland. The first thing is the thought. You start with your thinking. You are no longer that old program. Joey, if you are fed up of hearing me, you can stop, you can jump on, and I'll speak at the end. So you stop your thinking and you start programming yourself as a new quantum person, because this is what you are. Okay, a lot of people think, oh, I want to become quantum. Well, if I tell you you're already quantum, walking on a physical vessel, do you believe me? Do you believe me that your DNAs are dormant and you can actually transmute everything to become the quantum person that you want to be or that you are? Do you believe me? How many people believe me? Fantastic. You're winners, all of you. Love you. Fantastic. So you can do that. First, thought. To change everything in yourself, everything. It's hard work. If I could do it, every single of you can. It's hard work. Put yourself in the mirror every day. If the headache comes, if the hip hurts, if whatever, you talk to yourself. Because remember, you are not your higher self that people say. I am actually master myself. Okay? I don't operate in my lower self anymore or my higher self. I am now my master self. How cool is that? I never ever had talent to teach. I was nervous, like when I started teaching, I was like, I don't know how it's going to come out. At the beginning, I was choking. I was like, and now I've learned my best asset is when my meditation it's fully operating. I have these downloads and I have to write down. So when I teach, I go back to my notes because this is my strength. So everybody's different strengths. Some people don't need a note to teach, but I'm not a teacher. So I remember exactly what's happened to me a few years ago, and I had started to embrace my qualities because I was really in 3D, trying to compete, trying to be accepted by everyone, trying to be, I don't know, you know these things, trying to have more than everybody else because I wanted a good life for myself, right? And that is all programming. I had to stop all that. That's the first step. If you want to decalcify your pineal gland, that's the first step. 1, thought. 2, stop competition. Stop greed. Stop wanting to be more. You are now going to be the quantum person that you are by collaborating, by wanting to be united with everyone. It doesn't matter if they hate you, if they think you are no good. Stop the acceptance process. I posted something the other day. A lot of people take selfies and they very little know about themselves because this is the truth. We don't know. If you understand who you are, you kind of completely stop all these old belief system programs and you start operating in the quantum level, which is, in the quantum, this is only one thing that survives, that you are the light, but you have the sacred heart, which the light comes. And if you operate from your heart, that's what I'm teaching. I don't teach from books. I don't teach from those Spencer or Tony Robbins, Happy Clapping. No. I teach from what I know that came to me in reality. So I am no teacher, by the way. I tell people what I think I know it's correct. So my sacred heart started to expand and I start to love everyone as me. I become to love myself so much that every single person, how many of you have seen on your status written by me, I love you? How many? Come on. There you go. Do you know why? Because I do. Because you are me. How can I not love you if I don't love myself? I cannot love myself if I don't love you. Do you understand why now? Because I love you, because I love me. So to go further in this, when I had my spiritual awakening, a lot of things started happening to me naturally, cosmically, no force. One of the things was the sugar. I never been a sweet tooth anyway when I was little, but the sugar was a big thing. I started to spit out everything out of coffee, like, what is going on? Luckily for me, I was forced, okay? Sugar is, refined sugar is poison. There is a lot more you're going to learn in here, and I hope I have time. Sugar. Stop that straight away. If you can't take sugar, at least buy something like Demerara or something which is not refined. and change over time. And if you can leave it all together, this is going to help you massively. And you're going to see your meditation, how much you're going to see the colors, the waves. I see my own selves meditating now. Do you believe it? Who believes in here in this call, in this class, that I can see my own cells, my own DNA? I can see it. Who believes in me? Because I can. All right. If I can, you can. So sugar, refined salt. I cook with no salt. But if you can't, this class is $97. But what I'm giving you, no, there's no value to it. Himalaya, I don't know how to say it because my English is kind of funny. Himalaya salt, you can use that safely. Comes from the volcano. It's safe to use, and it tastes your food very, very nicely. So that's the two: sugar, refined sugar, and refined salt. Now, I already spoke about the medication. If you keep your medication, some of you, like Richard Fay, I know about him. Richard, we talk about other time, because just shut your ears if it's offensive. It's not judgmental or anything like that. I'm teaching how I've done it. Stop. I don't take an aspirin. I don't take a paracetamol. I don't eat those sugary, how do you call it? There's a name for these
Glucose.
Yeah, wherever. Yeah, don't nothing, because if you read what they're made of, they're full of aspartame, and aspartame, it's like a silent gun. It's a completely silent gun. Everything that you read got aspartame on it. Is that how you say it, aspartame? Yeah. So if you read the labels and everything you buy and it says aspartame, put it back on the shelf, because you know you are using a silent gun on your bodies, and it's gonna condense, or it's gonna press on your pineal, and it's not gonna help open blast. So those are the 3 or 4 for now. And then I'm going to tell you, because there's some of you in here that had these liquids in your body. And I had a vision during the COVID. And I've been asked to buy things like anti-inflammatories, things for headaches, chronic fatigue. And these things, I never knew they existed in my whole life. Are you ready to write down? How many of you have brain fog in this call? I want to know, honestly, be truthful. There's no judgment here. I knew you would.
Well,
brain fog.
I do, but I might be, because I'm in the change.
No, it's okay. I don't need to know the ins and outs, because I've been there, honestly.
Okay.
So I'm going to help you guys. And if you can mute yourselves, thank you so much. Just raise your hands. So I'm going to help you guys. Write down, because you're going to love this.
I get no brain fog, Liliana.
It's okay. Just mute yourself and just write this down. I want you to buy this came because your brain fog is because your organs are inflamed. So sometimes you don't have physical symptoms. When I had a dream, I was asked to buy this crystal, which is, I'm going to show you. Can you read it? This is for anti-inflammatory, arthritis, migraines, chronic pain, weak immune system, and helps your skin, your nails, your hair growth. It's not pleasant. You can buy tablets instead, okay? Because this tastes like salt. This came in a dream. I never knew this existed anyway. Now, this came in a dream as well. No idea. It's from the forest, from the rainforest, apparently from Amazon rainforest. This is all organic. No class, no people in the world is going to tell you this. This is again anti-inflammatory, but it's got huge amounts of antioxidants that are going to help you to decalcify your pineal gland. This is not pleasant. If you want to buy tablet form, not capsule, tablet. Capsule is no good as well. And some of you already know this, or some of you don't. This is pine pollen. This is a cell crack. Let me see. Cell wall crack. Here. Can you read it? Can you read it? Right. Okay. I used to do chlorella, and I still use it. Chlorella and wheatgrass. If you do smoothies, this is good to put in the smoothies. If this is too much, you just do smoothies. Just put a small teaspoon of each in a smoothie. Just shove it on your throat. And if you can add garlic, yes, pure raw garlic to your smoothies. Don't worry about the taste of that. Just shove it on the throat. I promise you, your pineal will start to get, you start to feel this is getting heavy. And every time you do meditation, it's like almost wanted to burst. And you feel like pressure around this area. And you're going to say, ow, ow. And you're going to feel a bit uncomfortable. And when you become uncomfortable, you know it's almost there. So let me see, where's the other ones? I have a ton of them. So we already talked about, this is extra. This came into my dream and I'm sharing with you, okay? Every single person is different, because how many of you think are dysfunctional on the nervous system? Come on, be honest. All right. I wanted to buy, because this is the key and nobody talks about it. Most of us are aluminum poisoned in everything we eat anyway. Every food we have is poison, as you call it, and aluminum in our bodies. I actually order more because it's finished now and it's coming to the post maybe tomorrow or Friday. Write down magnesium. You don't have to buy all at once, all right? Just buy what you can when you can. Don't force yourselves, because some of us take a long time. The pineal is not forced. You can't force to open, all right? You can't. It will come when it's the right time. So it's magnesium malate. I'm going to spell it for you. M-A-L, let's have a look if I got it here. Magnesium, M-A-L-A-T-E. This is absolutely crucial for your nervous system start to become functional. That's why you guys, Katie and all, and Layla saw my energy during the event. It's where you get your energy. When your nervous system is actually functional 100%, guys, you become unstoppable. You become superhuman, right? You don't need sleep. You don't need anything. So that is one of them. Now, if you don't want to start with these things because they cost a little bit of money, I'm going to give you a trick. This is how I started, because everything came gradually over the 2.5 years. For you to be in this class and to learn this, gosh, nobody told me this. It just came and, okay. I start using the fasting. I start with intermediate fasting, which is like 12 hours without food. Some of you can't do it, just do 6 hours or 8, whatever. This will help you to prepare your body for the crystalline body that you hear about, and your plasma body and your light body. Now, it's all very well said, if you don't want to fast, that's fine. But I have to say, you have to start. And this is honestly, if you want to become the quantum person that you are on this earth, you need to start choosing better foods. And those foods are, ditch the dense, because I'm going to give a tip to Katie. She's going to love me tonight. Ditch those dense foods and start using more leafy greens. Some of you are allergic, and I know Katie has a particular, I don't know even the name. I think I wrote it down because I find it's difficult. Okay, I'm going to try to pronounce it. It's leprosy psoriasis. No? It spells Psoriasis. Psoriasis? You can unmute yourself if you know what I'm talking about. So it's
psoriasis.
Thank you. Do you have that, Katie, or your son, or no? But what about skin allergies? How many people have skin allergies? Okay.
Well, I have a heat-related psoriasis, but odd, just on one foot.
Okay, are you ready for this? Because I don't actually it, but it came on a dream. Write down something very good for your nervous system, stabilize, and when that's stabilized, the vaccine liquid that gets out of your system of your body straight away. And anybody that has these skin problems will be absolutely see an improvement. Forget the creams, forget whatever they sell in the medical system, whatever is out there. This is called go to color. Don't ask me where it's come from because I can no idea. I say, okay, I'll buy it. So I'll spell it for you. G for golf, O, T for tango, U for universe, and it's cola with K. Kola. KO. Just find it. I'll give you the name of this company, which is Health Essentials Direct. They sell all these things there. All this coming, not the name of the company didn't come on a dream, but the products came on a dream. So I had to research. So I buy from this company, which is everything is organic, all right? So if you have skin problems or skin disease or anything like that, I mean, you have to pay. How much money do you pay for these things out there for medicals to tell you that everything is in the food we eat, and they will charge you a lot of money and you have to go back and you have to go back again and say, but doctor, my cell is no better. They don't want us to know. They want us to keep us ignorant. And I don't want anybody to go away tonight and say, gosh, I had good value in this class because I learned a lot more than I knew. Who's learning a lot more than they knew? Love it.
Hey, Liliana, I just want to say we probably need to move on to the next stuff. As
That's fine.
we're
Because
watching
I'm just
time here.
That's fine. I'll tell you what. So this is what I have so far. So if you guys want to jump onto the Christ consciousness, because the Pleiadians are here now, and they are a very loving alien race, and they are here to facilitate this process of opening the veil for us. We will do another class some other time, maybe, because I have a lot of people waiting on the queue that couldn't join in today. And I want you to know that there's a lot of powers within yourselves when you understand how to get rid of all this density in your brain, because everything has to come from this angle. That's why I'm always protecting it. So I leave it to Joe now, and thank you for allowing me this time. And we might do another one some other time. And I want to say, in the end, if we have time, I'll give you the name of the stones to buy to increase your intuition, which is going to come with your pineal gland senses. Is that all right? Some stones to buy, only if you want. Love you guys. Thank you for listening. Love you.
Wow. Let's give Liliana a round of applause. That was amazing. That was so much. I mean, I learned so much from her every time she opens her mouth. I just love being around her energy. She's amazing. And I can't tell her how grateful I am to have her as part of the team here. Thank you so much. All right, guys, what do you think so far? Are we getting a lot of value, learning a lot of stuff? Thumbs up. How are we doing? Fantastic. We're going to switch now into tangible steps, action plans as to what you can do next. You can start with just 1, 2, 3 of these things, but the bottom line is you just need to start taking action. Liliana said it perfectly. This is not anything that can be rushed. This is a lifetime of calcification. This is a lifetime of poisoning that's happened to our bodies. And as we slowly remove these toxins from our bodies, from our lives, we're going to start to see the unseen come to life and the benefits. And with that being said, let's hop right into what can we do? What are the steps that we need to take in order to create this new life, this new reality that we all want to live, healthy and long lives? So pineal gland activation methods, and Liliana, you can chime in on some of these as we go along. But the first one, meditation. We're going to go through meditation. We're going to talk about sun gazing. We're going to talk about fasting. Liliana mentioned that. We're going to talk about Qigong, breathing and energy activation. That's something Liliana is I believe to be an expert in. Just she understands how the energy works. She sees it, she feels it, she brings it to life through her. We're going to talk about brainwave entrapment, binaural beats, and the power that that has on our mind, on our brains. And lastly, we're going to discuss the most fun topic of all, DMT and psychedelics. So
Don't need psychedelics.
yeah, I will tell you, last night I did my first QHHT meditation with Lynette Ferguson. Amazing. We spent about 4 hours together last night, but I and her alike, we cannot get hypnotized. She did her best on me for a solid hour straight, and at the end of the day, nothing. And so we have to regroup. But both of us agreed, we think that the only way we can possibly tap into that subconscious hypnotized state is through the power of DMT, through ayahuasca. I'll talk about it at the end here, but don't discredit it. Don't listen to what has always been preached about it as a terrible drug. These are naturally occurring drugs in our body, and we'll talk about it as we get towards the end here. But first and foremost, the most important one that every single person can do, you may not be the best at it, you may just be starting at it, but it's meditation. Meditation is vital and it's key. It's the most traditional way to open your pineal gland, your third eye. And it's through this, whatever type of meditation you choose to use. I know we've got Joy on here, Joy Fanning. She has a show on the Reality Practice Network, and she teaches inner alchemy. She teaches actual meditation for beginners. She walks you through step by step, takes you on quick, little, easy 5-minute, then 10-minute sessions. And at the end of the day, the bottom line is meditation. It's essential for assessing your higher powers. And all it really is the ability for your mind to pay attention. It's your own ability to slow down the outside voices, the noises, even the inner voices. It's the ability for you to go into the silence and to access what's out there, the great unknown, the spirit within. It all comes through when you learn this practice of meditation. I've been doing it now for 3-4 years, and I'm still not an expert at it. I don't know, unless you spend years in a Buddhist monastery, and do we really have the ability to get in, become an expert at it? I think we're all just learning, we're all growing, and we all need to find what works for us. But the bottom line, meditation is key. If you're not, I think everybody raised their hands. About half of the group meditates, the other half doesn't. I strongly encourage you to find a type of meditation that works for you. It's been misconstrued over the years too. Meditation and church, meditation and religion have usually gotten a bad rap, but the idea is, if you want to keep it as simple as possible, if you pray and you pray to God, if you say prayers at night before bed, if you're grateful and thankful, and you just go in that quiet state for just a couple minutes, that is meditating. You are literally meditating when you pray. There's certain techniques and certain ways to meditate to access different dimensions, different outcomes. You want more clarity. You just want to center yourself. The Joy could discuss the benefits of meditating better than I ever could, but I know for myself, and I know with Liliana what she's experienced, and I know Steve, who's on here today, we discuss his meditations often. And for those of you not doing it, I strongly suggest starting to find some quiet time, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes a day, and just begin your journey into meditation. It has profound healing potential. I've meditated and rebuilt my blown out knee a couple years ago. I blew my knee out, needed crutches, couldn't even put weight on it, couldn't walk on it. And over the course of a couple months of meditating, focusing, using some magnets in addition to meditating, I reimagined my knee in its perfect state, its perfect DNA blueprint that I was born with, that we all are born with. And that's something meditation has the power to do. When you can go back into your mind and you can envision, for me, I envision tiny little construction workers in my body rolling out a blueprint, and they're literally reading the blueprint on how my body was built perfectly to begin with. And I envision them constructing it back into its perfect form. So I know from personal experience the power that meditation has. Anything you want to say on that, Liliana?
I was going to, and I did not knew that you were going to bring that up. So you stopped me right on that time. So meditation is the when I actually see my third eye. I'm going to tell you how it looks like, because most of you want to know. Who wants to know how it looks like? Who wants to know? Come on, be honest. Who wants to know?
Well,
All
I
right,
think it just looks like yourself.
Exactly. It is exactly that. I
Yeah.
saw it down in the middle.
Same.
Exactly the same.
Mm.
It's when you pass the other veil, the veil that is something else is happening. But that is the third eye is equal to this. So if yours is blue, maybe you blue, you see. If yours is green, you see green. I saw mine, it's brown, beautiful, love it. Go on, Joey. Meditation,
Right.
big time.
Here just to show the benefits of meditation. I've got 16 of them listed here, but who wants to lower their stress levels? Who wants to have a better immune system? Who wants to have better control of your emotions? I know for me, that's one of the biggest problems I've struggled with all of my life is my emotions, my anger, my frustration. All of those are regulated and kept more in control simply by meditating. And self-control right there, number 8. Who has anxiety? Raise your hand. Who has anxiety out there? I suffered a lot from it. It will help you and cure anxiety. It will help you sleep better. It'll help you find compassion in everything. It'll help you lower your blood pressure and even remove physical pain. There's just meditation. It's a must do if you want to activate the pineal gland. Next, we're going to talk about sun gazing. If you're not familiar with it, it may seem odd and it may even seem dangerous. We've all been told our entire lives, don't stare at the sun. It will burn your eyes. It will cause you to go blind. What is truth? Yes and no. They both are true. You can't stare at the sun after the first hour or the last hour before the last hour of the day. It will burn your retinas. But as far as sun gazing, I've started this practice and I learned how to do it from my good friend, Jesse Boudreaux, who I just had on his episode premiered today on the Reality Practice podcast. I suggest watching it. He talks about
Jesse
in depth. I'm actually playing a short clip of that video here on the next slide. But, if you want data, if you want scientific proof as to how sun gazing works, check this guy out here. You can watch the documentary on it, The Man Who Eats the Sun. I think it's on Netflix where I watched it. Hira Ratan Manik, known as HRM. He was literally studied, and it says here 130 days. I think it went all the way up to, I think like 300 days or something, but he did not eat food the entire time. He was studied by doctors, by clinicians, medical scientists, everybody. And this guy literally has learned how to live off the energy of the sun. He drinks very little water and basically does not eat. The entire time he was at this test where they examined him for the 130 days, he did not eat. He lived solely.
We're not recommending that to you guys. Not yet. We're not recommending that yet.
Not yet. But what I am going to do is I'm going to play real quick this clip because I can't teach it near as well as Jesse does. And Jesse is an expert. He's a breatharian. This is his lifestyle. And just so you know, he is now up to 23 hours a day of what's called dry fasting. He does not drink nor eat any liquids, any substance, 23 hours out of the day, and he only survives on 1 hour a day of liquid only diet. And he is flourishing in ways science can't even explain what his body is able to do at this point in time. So I'm going to play this quick video here and let Jesse explain exactly how to do it. If you're interested in learning more, this will give you all the information you need right here.
How important is the sun? How do we get our energy from it? Tell us all about this.
The sun is probably the single most important aspect of all of this. And, you know, to start with answering your question as to how to sun gaze, then we can move on to like all the benefits. But, you know, I want to be sure to hit this point because if people are interested in this, I want them to do it safely. You know, I feel like it's a very, very safe thing beyond what I'm going to share. But so according to HRM and his sun gazing practice, you do it the first hour, last hour a day when the sun rays are at an oblique angle. They hit the atmosphere at an oblique angle, so there's 0 UV.
Right. And I've heard is anything up to under 2 UV rating is perfectly safe, fine to look at, right?
Yeah, perfectly for all conditions. There are people, there's stories of like they tried in Vietnam to torture American soldiers by putting them in the sun and having them look at the sun all day long. And they found that their vision got better, their mental health got better, that, you know, it didn't work as a torture. It ended up being nothing but benefit, you know, and so, you know, the most dangerous time is when you're on water or on snow at high noon, you know, and it's a good time to cover your eyes, you know.
Yes.
But that first hour or so of the day, and you can get little UV meters so that you can see what the UV is rated at. But you start with 10 seconds the first day, and then the next day you do 20 seconds. And then the third day you do 30 seconds, and you work it on all up to 45 minutes. And when I first did this at the top of the 45 minutes, I felt like I had a DMT, pineal gland experience of awakening, where I felt just completely connected to the whole universe. I could feel my fontanelle pulsing up here. And I, you know, just felt essentially totally in love, you know, just ensconced in love and was love myself. And it was a beautiful, I put it up there with when my kids were born, you know, my first psychedelic experiences, like a very connective, you know, sort of tantric union with my wife. You know, it was one of the most profound experiences of my life. It's transformative in that way as well. But what it does is it stimulates the rods and cones in your eyes to process stress chemicals. It does a number of things. There's this whole idea of your eyes are windows to the soul. And it's like letting that sunlight energy into your body, and it kind of washes. I remember some of my first experiences sun gazing, looking at the sun, and I was like weeping. And I wasn't sad, but I was just tearing. And I had this sense of like, if you're ever with, you know, maybe an uncle or your father who's coming at you in total love.
Whoop.
And I felt like the sun was telling me, don't fool yourself, son, with misconceptions and lies about yourself and doubt. And, you know, I love you, and you're totally supported, you know. So
that's beautiful. Thank you.
All right, let me get back here now. Yeah, that's the benefits of sun gazing. He is firsthand can explain and share his journey, along with a lot of the other principles of awakening the pineal gland. A show of hands, how many people are ready to try and learn about sun gazing and start doing it, practicing it? I know I do. I'd like to build up like Jesse does for the 45 minutes a day. Unfortunately, now I've moved to a place where the sun doesn't rise up until over the trees until like a couple hours into the day, and sunsets, same thing. It's behind the trees. So I've got to find a better place at this point to be able to do it, but I definitely recommend it. It's another powerful way to open up the pineal gland here. So let's look at the next one. Liliana had mentioned it, fasting. This is from way back when, 2011 study about periodic fasting. It lowers your risk of heart disease, diabetes. It changes your blood cholesterol levels. It increases HGH, human growth hormone. I know for me, I've started over the past year or two, I've begun fasting, more of a unconscious thing as I'm evolving, as I'm opening my pineal, as I'm becoming more of who I truly am. I'm finding that food doesn't serve me the way it used to. It doesn't really have the effect, and I'm eating less and less. And what I'm eating is less and less health or less unhealthy foods. And I'm desiring healthier foods, salads, whole foods, fresh fruits. But for me, and I think the idea with fasting is, in order to do it and to do it correctly, you need to give your body 16 hours typically of fasting. So between the last meal you have at night, let's say it's 8, 9 o'clock at night, you then need to go at least 16 hours a day or throughout the night while you sleep. And then your first part of the day, 4, 5, 6 hours without eating. I typically nearly every day, I know for me, I go about to the point of 16 to 18 hours is what I'm comfortable with. I've gone much longer on certain days, but typically I'm at that about 16 to 18 hours a day. And it's at that 16 hour a day where our body starts to break down the toxins. Our toxins live within our fat cells. And when we burn off fat, we're burning and removing the toxins from our body. So in order to have the benefits of fasting, it has to be at least 16 hours. At that 16-hour mark, your body starts to literally eat itself, and not in a bad way. It goes to your storage of fat first, because your fat is the easiest thing in your body to break down. And I assume quite a few of us would like to remove a little bit of body fat here and there and get a little bit more lean. So it can't hurt you by any means, but the magic number is 16 hours. And anything after that is when your body naturally starts to eat itself, and it eats the fat, which thus burns the toxins, which starts to cleanse the body and starts to help activate the pineal. Anything you want to say on that, Liliana?
No, it's true, because fasting, it's alone, it's magical, but to burn that toxins, if you can do just a little walk in between or kind of yoga, I'm sure it was going to come after, just to join the two together, it's going to make an impact on how to detoxify or take these heavy metals out of your system. Absolutely right. Yeah. And
there's different types of fastings that you can do. I mean, it's been practiced by mystical practices and religious practices for thousands of years. And we just have never really understood the benefit of it until now with science. But there's certain fasts you can do. I recommend, and I try to do it at least twice a year, with once a quarter if I can, but I do a juice only fast, all natural, juice only. This is an excellent way as well to remove the toxic metals from your system. You switch only to juice, and you can drink it all throughout the day, but there's different types of juicing you can do to remove certain metals, certain toxins. So juice fasting is super easy to do, and you can do it for 1 day, 3 days, 5 days. The next step for me that I really want to do, and I think April and I were talking about it last night, when I get back from a trip to Mexico I'm taking at the end of August, I'm going to do a 3-day water only fast after I return from it. And in order to do it properly, I think I'm going to pack up a tent and head out into the country and the forest and find nature and just go out for 3 days with just me, my chair, my tent, and a notebook, nothing else, and some water, I guess. And that way I've got no temptation. I've got nothing around me that would tempt me to want to eat. If I'm sitting at home, watching a movie, wanting to pick up a snack, I'm just going to cut the cord and go out into the wilderness and do it old school style and come back even better for it. But you can find more research on fasting. I recommend checking it out, but typically you want to fast anywhere between 1 to 3 days, water only. There's different recipes for a couple different ways you can do it online. I do not recommend, until you are more proficient, until you've actually done a 1 to 3 day fast, I do not recommend medically to do anything longer than 3 days. If you want to start getting into the 5 day, 7 day, totally doable. There's documentaries out there, there's scientific research. There's people that have fasted for 10 days and longer, no problem whatsoever. It's only in our mind. They tell us, oh, you can't have water, you can't live without water, you can't live without food. We break down all those myths, and actually watch that episode today that just premiered with Jesse. He breaks down all those myths on how you can go without water, how you can go without food. And it's all a function of our body naturally doing what it was built to do. We've just been programmed the wrong way. So let's see the next one. Liliana is very in tune with this one. Qigong and breathing and energy activation. Qigong literally translates to life energy cultivation or energy skill. And it's the exercises, they're designed to increase your sensitivity to the flow of the energy, or otherwise known as qi. It's going to increase your flow of energy to your body, and you learn how to move this energy around through simple motions like Liliana does with her gestures, with her hand motions. That's a form of Qigong. And what she's actually doing is she's moving energy. She's feeling it. She's seeing it. If we had more time in here, we could do a quick, like 5 minute, not even 3 minute meditation. And I would show you all the power of the energy and how you can hold your hands together. And between all of us focusing, thinking on this energy, creating through our hands, I can make you all feel the energetic movement. It will go back and forth between your hands, almost like it's vibrating. And this is real. This is the energy of the life of source that's all around us. But for most of us, we have a lot of blocked energy meridians. This goes back to the chakras. And maybe we'll teach a class on chakras down the road. But for most of us that don't understand how the chakras work, they're energy sources throughout our body. And doing this breathing and energy activation technique, you're going to be able to start accessing and unlocking these certain areas, these certain chakras in your body that are holding a lot of trauma. A lot of blockages from activating the pineal gland come from trauma, and they're usually subconscious typically, and it's usually trapped in our root, lowest chakra, our sacral chakra, or the solar plexus, our lower 3 chakras. Most people, especially everybody walking around that aren't here today, that are just going about their normal lives, in all likelihood, they've got 1, if not all 3 lower chakras completely blocked of this energy. It's no wonder that people don't have this connection that we're teaching here today, because if that energy can't pass through you because it's blocked, it's going to stay stuck right where it's at. So definitely learn more, look into breathing, energy activations, Qigong, all of this in order to help unlock those locked, energy meridians and chakras. What do you have to say, Liliana?
Well, do you know what? This is not coincidence, and I'm not selling anything in here, but Joe did not know this. When we start to connect, he put a meditation on internet, how to heal the inner child. Another time I was very much blocked, and I listened to that breathing meditation. It was like a inner child meditation makes me cry, but then I found the other one, which is just the breathing. And I start to do that every single day until I start to master my own energy. Because just the breathing, I told Katie, because she's got asthma, right? And we do not know, but we can hold so much of our breath. And this is one tip that I'm going to give you. When you hold your breath for amounts of time, it actually almost forces you to open you can sense it with your third eye, just want to blast open. You feel it, and you just want to hold it a little bit more, and you just hold it, and you just hold it, and you say, come on, it's going to be now, it's going to be now. Because you guys are going to feel it. What I'm saying is going to happen to you as you hold your breath more and more and more and more. You just want to stay there, and you say, I can't hold it anymore. But now the time when you're going to release it is the time when your third eye is almost blasting open. You just, damn it, I could hold it a little bit more. Try it, guys. It works. I love it.
I've got, like Liliana said, I've got some breathing meditation exercises on the Reality Practice Network on YouTube there. If you want to go to the pro, though, if you want to go to the source of it, check out Wim Hof. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Wim Hof and breathing techniques, he teaches cold water submersion. He teaches all about breathing, and it is that in and of itself is truly life-changing. I highly recommend it. Let's see. Next, we've got brainwave entrapment and binaural beats. Now, our brains, they operate on, we are full of energy. That's all we are. We're just beings of energy, and our brain waves are operating on energetic patterns depending on our state. When we're asleep, we're in delta, unconscious, delta sleep waves, and it's a very slow moving, just little bit of energy waves. Now you've got the theta waves. That's at the very first thing when you wake up in the morning and you're kind of halfway in, halfway out of consciousness. That's where your theta waves are activated. That's also the range you're trying to look for when you're meditating. You want to activate the theta waves while you're meditating, and you will see increased creativity, altered states of flow. You've got the alpha. Alpha is typically where we're at, most of the day, if not beta, when we're relaxed, when we're just chilling out. And it says right there, self-introspection, daydreaming, that's your alpha waves. And then when you're at work, when you're doing something, when you're physically focused on something, your brain is operating at beta waves. Now, there are many different ways of going about using the binaural beats. I recommend going online, YouTube searches. You can find, just type in whichever one you want, theta wave binaural beats, beta, whatever you want. And I incorporate the binaural beats in nearly every meditation. If I'm not doing a guided meditation, I'm listening solely to binaural beats. And that's all I listen to. That's when my best meditation happens, is when I simply listen to that. But it has to be done with earphones. You can't do it through a speaker because it has to go in. One ear is one frequency. The other ear is a different frequency. So for instance, if your right ear has gamma waves at 40 hertz and your left ear has alpha waves coming in at, let's say, 8 hertz. The difference between the two that your brain hears is the difference of those. So that would be what, 32? That's probably not or if it's 14. So the idea is when you combine two different binaural beats, hence the binaural beats, it creates a third frequency, which is the middle one that you're going for. So if you want to do delta mixed with gamma, you're going to end up with a low beta or possibly an alpha wave. There's ways of playing with it. There's hundreds of thousands of meditations on YouTube that focus solely on this and different beats you can listen to. So I highly recommend incorporating binaural beats and isochronic beats that's a different version of it. But incorporating those with your meditation will have profound impact on your meditations. So let's get to the last one, and then we will open it up to Q&A to round out and finish off the class here. And this one is the DMT and psychedelics. And DMT was dubbed the spirit molecule. It is a natural hallucinogenic capable of producing extraordinary visions and mystical states of consciousness. It exists in all of our bodies, and it occurs completely naturally in the plant and animal kingdom. It's a part of our normal human makeup as mammals. We are all receiving DMT. Now, when you hear about DMT in terms of psychedelic, of drug use, you're getting super high condensed versions of that naturally occurring element that is in your mind, that's in your body, and it's coming from your pineal gland. And the other one that is out there that I'm looking forward to and looking to set up a retreat, hopefully, probably at this point next spring. So stay tuned, guys. But I am wanting to set up a retreat down to either Costa Rica, Mexico, or Peru, and actually do a 5 to 7 day ayahuasca retreat. And that is where, and basically ayahuasca, it's DMT, and it's in a condensed form. It's found in the Amazonian jungle, and it's made into a tea. It's a sacred tea from the ayahuasca plant combined with some other leaves from chikungra and chagrapanga bushes, and they boil them all together into a tea, and you drink it. And when you drink this, it has profound experiences for everybody. It allows, you can watch different documentaries. I know they've got them on Netflix, on Gaia. You can Google them. They're on YouTube all over the place. But what you will find when you do a DMT or ayahuasca retreat and experience, some people do it one time. I know our good friend Ricky Goodell, he has done, I think, somewhere up to like 50 ayahuasca DMT experiences, and he's now a shaman, but he used that drug to open up that pineal gland fully. When people when they do ayahuasca, when they take DMT, it gives you a vision apparently, and it opens up that connection to your higher self. You literally can talk directly to your higher self. Hence the reason why I want to definitely go down and experience this for myself, because not being able to be hypnotized is really frustrating for me. So I think this is probably the next best step if I can't get it to work the next time Lynette and I get back together. But to each his own. You guys all go with whatever makes sense to you, whatever sounds right. Do your research, question everything. But at the end of the day, there's so many medicinal purposes to the herbs and the plants that exist on Earth. Everything has been created to help us. It's been kept from us, the secret to many of these plants, and a lot of them have been classified as illegal substances, literally to keep us from accessing these higher states of consciousness that we're all trying and desiring to get to. So what do you say, Liliana? Oh, here, one last clip slide here. And this is actual medical research here that talks about and shows the power of DMT, for instance, in an LSD trip. If you look here, the placebo, this is the top one, is your normal brain activity, just day in and day out, thinking, doing whatever. But when you put DMT into your system, look at the difference. Look what happens to the brain, especially the front cortex. I mean, it just explodes, and all that energy is coming in. They say that we only access like 10%, if even that, of our brain, of the power of our mind. But as you can see right there, the placebo, that's accessing 10% maybe of the brain. But when you introduce the DMT into the system, it explodes the entire mind into activation. So I've yet to do it. I know many of people who have, and I've never heard anyone say anything remotely bad about it. So I'm looking forward to it. It's just another step in my evolution. But what do you have to say? Anything, Liliana?
Yeah, I was gonna say what April says. I'm too scared of ayahuasca, and I'm not gonna try it because I've already seen myself on the top of the earth as a meditation experience. So I don't think I want to. And I see my bedroom with colors sometime and waves. So I've been told by a shaman. We've got a shaman on the call tonight, by the way. If anybody wants to reach out, her name is Christina Gudrum. She's a shaman, and I'm not fan of psychedelics, but I would like to try once, maybe in a lifetime, one ayahuasca. But I've been told by shamans I don't need, because what I experienced already is more than enough for my needs. So yeah, but each to their own. Do your own research and what works for you. I mean, a lot of people take cannabis and they say they're gonna get like this experience. Cannabis is very low. Is very 3D, is not going to do anything to you, and is not helping on your ascension anyway. Possible. It's actually doing the opposite. You fall back on your programming. So don't do that. It's not going to help you. I don't think there's anybody in this call disagree with what I'm saying, but yeah, each to their own. Whatever works for you, do it.
And with that being said, we are basically at the end of the class,
that
and
was
now
so quick.
we're gonna. That just flew by. I want to open it up though for Q&A here, and we'll answer as many as we can as they keep coming.
Because I wanted to do some chanting to help in the process.
Yeah, I mean,
because,
I'm fine with sticking on for a while with everybody, as long as there's questions and you want to do a chant and everything. I'm fine
I'll
with
do
doing
the
that.
chanting
So
at the end. Yeah, I'll do the chanting at the end.
yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead,
we're
guys.
at the end
I'm
of the
good.
hour or the end of the class. So those that have to go, get out of here. Those that want to stick on, we'll hang around for a while and just have some fun and answer any questions. Raise a hand if you've got questions, or you can just put them in the comment box there. But if you want to ask a question,
Silva,
just bring
I
you
want to hear
right
from you,
on.
my friend. Silva is very tuned in. He's going to open his third eye tonight. I'm sure of that. He's so connected. Guys, did you enjoy this class? Was worth it your money, do you reckon? Come on, be honest.
Yeah, how'd you guys like it? Good value? Did we all learn something, a few things?
They learn a lot of things. Unmute yourselves now, honestly, just the open class now.
Yeah,
everyone is a teacher now. Teach me, come on, everyone.
I've got to step away real quick and use the restroom. So definitely unmute yourselves, guys. Start asking questions, anything you want to know from Liliana and me, and I will be right back.
Come on, hurry up, Mush. So yeah, I don't know, but unmute yourselves and tell me more. What
fantastic. This was wonderful. I learned, yeah, I learned a lot. I mean, Joey, of course, being my husband, I hear all sorts of things all the time for the last couple of years, and so I don't study a lot of this stuff the way that he does. So sometimes it's just in one ear and out the other for me. He's my husband.
You look radiant. You look radiant.
Thank you. But I wanted to come on here, and I told him that last week that I wanted to be a part of the class because I didn't really understand what the calcification was of the pineal gland, or what the pineal gland really was all about, or just all that stuff. So this, for me, was really great, just as a beginner of somebody who really didn't understand it, to understand it more, understand the role that it plays in my life. And so I think you guys did a really great job. I really learned a lot.
Thank you, April. Can I say something to you? Because you don't know this, but I'm actually connected and I can see people straight away. I mean, I can go beyond it and I'm not even go there, but I'm going to tell you right now, you don't know this, but the reason I know you are connected is because your creativity. Once somebody unblocks the sacral chakra, this is where you know they are becoming connected with the creator itself. Because I know, if nobody knows, April, she's got an online business with, you can promote yourself, we don't care about it so far, it's all right. But she's very creative, and what that means when you put your creative side of things out in the world, everything that is your own talent, not your like what you have to do for survival. What you really enjoy doing is when you know you are connected to source. So I think you don't need any blast open events or anything like major happen to you, because I can read you are connected. Anybody who's doing what they love, really, really, not for the money, but what they really love, they already tapped into this knowledge and they are connected. I mean, Joe Family, she's got a YouTube channel as well. You agree with what I'm saying, correct? Because this is true. I mean, I never thought I was going to do this in my life. Katie and Zilva and Laura know me, and Layla. Oh, come on, did I do well? I used to choke speaking. I was like, oh, help. I'm no teacher. Look at me. I'm like, did you enjoy? Hear me out? I'm crazy. Come on, guys, unmute yourselves.
I did. I really enjoyed it tremendously. I've gotten so much from the reality network and all the things that you guys put out, and this was a really third eye opening experience for me, because my third eye is pretty much open, because I see my meditations in clouds of brilliant colors, and I have had visions of prophecies as I meditate. So, but there was so much more in there I know I can get if I decalcify.
Fantastic.
And produce that kind of stuff. So I've enjoyed the whole thing. I learned a lot.
Thank you, Steve. And I know your story is incredible. What a story, you guys, honestly. I want to hear from Layla, Katie, and Zilvas and Laura, because they're my property people. What do you think about what we learned tonight? Come on, guys, unmute yourselves. Tell me more. I want feedback. Come on.
Yeah, what was the one takeaway out of all the things we discussed in terms of the steps you can take? You know, what are you guys committed to doing? Like, first and foremost, you know, is it meditating? Is it eating healthier? Is it fasting, sun gazing? What did you guys like about that? And what are you guys gonna start to initiate in your lives?
Hi, everyone. So, yeah, I have a question actually about the fasting. It mentioned like it's like to 1 to 3 days, but how often should it be? Like once a month, once a year, once a week?
Yeah, good question. And it's really about what your body can tolerate and what your body wants to do. You know, for me, I try to do my juice fasts once a quarter, ideally, because it allows me to cleanse out and remove all the toxins that I've accumulated over the quarter. And I try to always just purify and clean out my body. I know for me, when I remove those, when I do those, all my joints that used to have pain, they feel like I'm 18 years old again. My shoulders don't hurt, my knees don't hurt. It literally, all of those, and the inflammation that's in there, it literally removes itself when we eliminate.
You become superhuman.
That's right. So, you know, do a little research on it, but start with typically a 1-day fast, just to prove that you can do it to yourself. It's all in the mind. It's all willpower. But 1-day fast is good to start with, and you could do a 1-day fast every month if you wanted to. Fasting in general is not going to hurt you. You could do it every month for 3 days if you wanted to. It's only going to benefit you, and it's only going to help you become healthier, because it's the ultimate way of removing all toxins from the body. Because once your body no longer has food coming in, it begins to eat itself, and it eats itself from the harmful chemicals first. Fat burns easier than muscle. Fat is carrying all of the toxins. So when you do the dry fast, when you basically starve yourself and just put water in, water will flush out all of the toxins that are being burnt up from the fat storage in your body. And we all have it, unless we're like 7% body fat. We've all got fat stored in our bodies, and they're all they're all carrying those harmful toxins. So fasting 100% cannot hurt you. But don't just do research and prepare yourself. If you're going to do anything longer than 3 days is my recommendation. 3 days won't hurt you, but definitely drink water while you're doing it.
I want to help him. I want to help him to start, because I started once a month, every Sunday of the month, once a month. When I was 15 years old, I started doing that. You can start once a month. And if you can't do it, just do like intermediated fasting, just a few hours, and you're going to build up from there. You don't have to do it. It's if your body can't do it, just change to liquid juice. It's good. Raw juicing is amazing. If you can't fast, just do raw juicing. Honestly, just do what your body can.
And one of the amazing things that happens, and it's all in our mind, but we feel like we're starving, you know, after 8 hours of not eating, 4 hours, 10 hours, 16 hours, our minds are telling us, oh, I need food. It hurts. It's only in our mind. Drink a little water and think about something else, and you'll forget all about being hungry. But the beauty of it is after that 16, 18 hours, you get into 24 hours, your body no longer feels hungry, where you think like, oh, I'm starving. Those urges go away. That your body starts to fuel itself from what's already within it, and it no longer needs the actual food that we think we need. So it's all a mind game. It's all self-discipline at the end of the day, but you'll find the longer you go without eating, the less the hunger pains come, and the longer you can go more often. So it's like anything, it's practice, and it's, you know, the first 100 times you do anything, you're going to suck at it. So don't beat yourself up over it.
Don't beat yourself. Don't beat yourself.
The biggest thing that I have is like, I'll do my 3-day juice cleanse. And every time I tell April, I'll be 2 days, like at the end of my second day, and I'm like, I'm kicking ass. I'm going to keep going. This is the day. This is the time I do a 5-day juice cleanse. Maybe I'll push it to 7. I can do this. And then about midway through the 3rd day, my discipline starts to come in, and it's like, ooh, pizza sounds good. A hamburger sounds good. And
you're not gonna gain a plasma body with pizza. No plasma body with pizza. No.
Yes. So that I'm just meaning, you know, don't beat yourself up over it. Our minds play tricks on us. And at the 2nd day, I'm like, yes. By the 3rd day, I'm like, oh, this is miserable. I just want to eat. But I know if I push through the 3rd day into the 4th and into the 5th day, I'll have more energy than I ever knew I had. It happens every time. Like I'm bouncing off the wall. I don't even need coffee. I need nothing when I'm on a juice cleanse, because it's literally, and it works the same way with fasting. So it just energizes your body. So great question.
Dilvas, I am a quantum alchemy initiator. So if I could do it, you can do it. I can teach people how to start to be quantum in this realm. So reach out to Reality Practice, and we're going to do more classes about things. It's very, very, very easy when you train how to do it. Don't pressure yourself, just start small. This is how I've done since 15 years until, well, I'm 49 now, so it's been a long time. But you can do it. You might do it. Go on. Anybody else?
I can ask one more question. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So basically about the brain waves, yes. You mentioned that you say like let's put like a different, you know, hertz, like I say like 40 or 8. That sound generated, let's say, should be like some by natural, like by the crystal balls, or could be like a computer generated, like some apps that exist on the market.
Yes, there are apps. I think in the resource, one of the resources I sent out to everybody, there's actually it talks about in one of them that I sent out, it talks about some different apps you can use. There's quite a few of them out there that you can access the exact frequency you want to use. Be selective on YouTube. There's a lot of fake ones out there that claim to be this, you know, certain hertz, certain frequency, and they're just kind of gimmicks. But there's some out there that, and I can't think of off the top of my head, there's one guy in particular, I'll see when I get done talking here, if I can find his name. He's one of the most reputable, best ones out there for doing it, and it's all free on YouTube, the stuff he puts out. I'll find it here in a second, but if you want to say anything, Liliana.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is something that helps me a lot to understand which ones are fake or not fake. You know, you are energy. When you hear these tunes on your ears, they either resonate with you or not, and you know straight away if you want to carry on or not. This is how pure it is for us. If you put it on and you say, gosh, this is not me, your body's completely tell you, get out, try another one. You will feel the energy straight away. Because remember, everything is within you. So you know, you're not going to be there like, oh, fed up with this now. Because you're not gaining anything from it. You're just forcing yourself to listen to something that is not resonating with yourself. Your higher self will tell you exactly if this is matching with your frequency or not. You will know straight away, honestly. The first 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 minutes, you say, yeah, I'll stick with this. No, I'll change to another one. Honestly, I'll tell you, this works. Because you know, you feel it, and it's kind of, yeah, this is actually, it's take me home, this one, yeah, you know.
Yeah, when it's working and you're in that zone, you'll literally feel like your head, everything around you is vibrating. You start to feel the energy almost pulsating coming to you, and you'll know it when it happens. It'll be like, oh my God, it's happening, you know.
Yeah.
But you want to try and stay, you don't want to try and be conscious of it. Joy can attest to that. You know, when we're meditating, the second we try to become conscious of whatever it is we're feeling or thinking, then we lose that meditative state. So that's kind of one of the hardest things I used to struggle with for sure, was keeping my brain from, when a vision or something appears in a meditation, not following it and getting distracted by it and letting it continue to come, because what comes next is usually the most profound and impactful stuff. But a lot of times we scare it off basically through our conscious mind. Wouldn't you agree, Joy? All right.
Yeah, totally.
Can I just ask one question?
Yes.
At the beginning, and you mentioned about some stones to increase your intuition. What were they?
Right. Okay, let me just find it.
Thank you.
I did say I was going to help.
Sylvanus, Jason Lewis is the name of that YouTube guy that creates the really good isochronic and binaural beats.
Okay, we've got the amethyst.
Yeah.
Increase your intuition. The purple sapphire. They're all purples. The purple violet. The purple violet tourmaline. This is how you say it. Tourmaline.
Yeah. Tourmaline. Yeah.
Yeah. Rhodonite and sodalite.
Sorry, what was that first? Say that one again.
Rhodonite is RHODONITE. Rhodonite, and sodalite is SODALITE. Those will definitely help you increase. And normally I leave them overnight by my bedroom window to recharge with the moon.
Yeah.
Everything. I've got a big thing under my top under my bedroom, and I recharge even my bracelets. I put them there and charge with the full moon. Right. Normally, Amazing. It works perfectly. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm going to have to go now, but thank you for a wonderful time.
Thank you, Michelle, for joining us.
Thank you. Take care.
I know that the troopers who stay for the end want to do the chanting, the Hebrew chanting, bring the Christ, the Christus. Who wants to bring the Christus?
If you're going to do it, I'll stay for a bit.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up with that then, Liliana. Why don't you take us out? And if anybody has any additional questions, feel free to put them in the chat that we've got, the Facebook Messenger. Feel free to reach out on there. You can email us as well.
I think Silvers wants to ask another question. Quick, come on. Yeah, yeah.
Quick one. You mentioned about the Wim Hof method. So it's kind of the breathing technique or something like that.
Yeah, do you know him? Search him. Yeah.
No, I heard about it, but just interesting,
It's amazing. Cold showers, ice bath, you name it. I do it. You can do it.
There's a documentary on Netflix. I think it's called The Iceman, And
tell you what, Silver, if you ever try it,
it's amazing.
Amazing. I've seen.
do you know that actually helped me? Because when you do this cold shower, this area here is just blast open when you do it. It's just like literally is a vehicle to start your pineal gland activation. I forgot about that one. It's amazing. That's why people say she's just crazy. In the winter, cold
Yeah,
shower.
in the winter, I just dip in the sea. Yeah.
I honestly, last year I was out, I looked crazy to my neighbors, but in the middle of snowstorms, I'd be out shoveling the driveway, bare feet and shorts with no shirt, you know, in 25-degree weather, just breathing right through it.
Layla, any questions, darling? You've been so quiet. Have you learned anything today? Unmute yourself. Have you learned anything?
Hey, yes, thank you so much. Of course, I've learned a lot. I've got my notes here as well. So like loads written down. And yeah, so if you want me to share, then probably like a few things that I definitely want to implement is just some of the like I don't know, shall I call them supplements that you mentioned, like MSM and, you know, Kama all the other things. So I want to like research everything, done some of them I've never heard of before.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is like resonates with me. So I want to look into that. And
in the one of the resources that we emailed over, it has like 12 or 13, I think, different supplements that you can look into as well. That'll help.
Yeah, I briefly like scanned through it, so I have to really like take time to actually go through everything you guys provided. It seems amazing, by the way, you know, like all the documents you've sent through and the content, amazing. Thank you so much. Still, I just need a bit more time to go through it because it was a bit
the ones I shared was the ones you needed for me, because I become from this illness state from the whole programming, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, brain fog. And this is what my vision came. They were appropriate for me. So it doesn't mean they're going to be appropriate to you, okay?
Exactly. So I just felt there was like two that actually resonated. I've written them all down. But obviously there's I think the other few that might be relevant. And the other thing I wanted to mention as well, just, you know, in terms of that I feel I need to implement, which again, it I think comes over and over, that message is about changing the thoughts. And like I loved how you said it, Liliana, about changing everything about thoughts. So when the things come up is actually to
I'm in charge. No,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been doing a lot of work around this anyways, but it's just the way you've like reinforced it tonight. It was just really like really powerful for me personally. So yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I know, I think.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in and coming into the class today. I know Liliana and I are so grateful that you were here. Everybody that left already, we love them just as much. Stay tuned for our next class. We don't know what it's going to be yet, but we'll probably be bringing another one out next month sometime. In the meantime, be sure you follow the Reality Practice Network on YouTube, on Facebook. You'll get all the updates, everything you need to know there, and we'll continue to pump out great content, great resources for you guys. Anybody that's interested in working with Liliana and me one-on-one, please feel free to contact us directly. We do have coaching that we offer people in different packages and whatnot. If you want to dive deeper into this, the quantum, into healing, into this whole journey of life, we are here to guide you through this process, just like we did today, but in much more depth and a lot more accountability, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's creating your reality. You just need a little help and a little push along the way to get you started and to keep everything going. You know, it's easy to get off track. We can do it just in the blink of an eye, and to have somebody accountable to answer to and to help guide you through these steps. That's what Lily and I do. So by all means, if you're interested in that, reach out to us. You can email us, you can message us on Facebook. Lastly, we would love if you guys gave us a review on this. If you could, we'll get some links out. I'll email and message everybody, but we'd love if we could get some reviews, how this impacted you, like biggest takeaway, anything like that. We would love your support and your feedback on this. This is the first one of these we've done, and we just want to keep getting better and better as we move forward and
This
keep
is a
bringing
special remind.
value. So,
Thank you so
Liliana,
much, guys. Just want to say thank you for all that enroll in this, because your lives now you are tapping into the same frequency. This is very important for you to understand. Once you tap in the same frequency, you become one. So be careful now what you wish, because your wishes are coming true. Be careful what you think, because it's gonna happen. Thank you, guys. I love you. I love you. Thank you so much.
yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye.